It's a living, dynamic process that grows and changes and deepens, like any relationship. And centering prayer is also a method, which I'll spend most of my time with this morning, but a method in total service of the relationship. Centering prayer, we use, like we did in our prayer this morning, we use one word, or what we call a sacred symbol. The sacred symbol can be a single word like God, or an awareness of the breath. And as we heard this morning, breath means spirit. So just an awareness of the breath. The sacred word or sacred breath expresses our intention to consent to God's presence within. The indwelling presence of God, God's presence and healing action within. So we're coming into the presence of the divine therapist, if you like to use that image. And this is key, believing in the indwelling presence of God in centering prayer, where Jesus says, "Abide in me as I abide in you." To help us abide is where the sacred word or sacred breath comes in. And I'll just give you a few examples of a sacred word. Could be God. Really, it could be any word. It doesn't have to even be a religious word. Could be Jesus. Could be spirit, mercy, love, trust, peace. Because the sacred word or breath is not sacred in itself, but it's because of the meaning that we give it, which, as I mentioned, it expresses simply our intention to be in the healing, loving presence of God within, and to consent to God's presence. Intention and consent, we say, are the heart and soul of centering prayer. My intention during this time of prayer is simply to be with you, loving God, and whatever you desire to do within me. But we need to talk a little bit about thoughts, because as we try to be, thoughts normally, naturally do arise into our consciousness. If you've ever tried to do silent meditation. This is a question in all meditation practices. What do I do with my thoughts during prayer? Thoughts in centering prayer, we say, is like an umbrella term. If you picture an umbrella, it stands for any perception that appears on the inner screen of our consciousness. Could be a concept, a reflection, the incessant chatter that goes on in our minds. Could be like a body sensation, a twitch, in my eye. Could be an emotion arising, an image, a memory, a plan, or even a spiritual communication. In centering prayer, that could shock you, but we say all of these are thoughts. And Jesus, in his invitation to go into the inner room, is inviting us to let go of all thoughts, to be in silence. And silence leads to intimacy and ultimately to union with God. So in centering prayer, to facilitate letting go of thoughts, people can sit, you can stand, you can do anything, but we suggest that you take a comfortable position so that you aren't conscious of being uncomfortable during the prayer, because that would be another thought. So we just do the best we can. Usually we put our feet flat on the ground, like if we're sitting in a chair, and try to keep the back as straight as is comfortable for you so that the flow of energy is not blocked. We choose a place that's relatively quiet. It's getting quieter now in here. Just as quiet as possible. But you can do centering prayer, silent meditation, even in an airport, because you're going into the inner room. It's good to close your eyes because we tend to think about what we see. Then after we sit comfortably, kind of settle briefly, conscious of what we're about, what we do then in centering prayer is introduce our sacred word. We just place it gently in our awareness. And then during the time of centering prayer, when thoughts arise that we become engaged in, and I'll say a little bit about that, we return ever so gently, so we don't want to jar because we're entering more the spiritual level of consciousness. We just say quietly within our sacred word. Engaged with thoughts would be, this is an image to give you. Say you are sitting on a riverbank and you're watching boats go by, and we'll just say the boats are thoughts. And so you're just sitting quietly, not engaged with the boats, just letting them go by. But then suddenly a really flashy boat comes up and grabs your attention, and before you know it, you're on the boat being carried down the river. When you become aware that you're thinking these thoughts, you just very gently return to your sacred word, which would be like, you know, if you don't want to be carried down, you get off the boat and just go back to the riverbank. So that's what our sacred word, it's a very simple, gentle way of returning consciously to our inner room. And you have to keep in mind that thoughts are normal, they're inevitable. And if you are in the health profession, you know, when that line goes straight, you have no thoughts, I think you're dead, aren't you? So thoughts are always there. So don't be upset that thoughts, and they're also integral to the practice. Because some thoughts we teach, we can't get into this, come from the unconscious that are in need of healing. And God at this point is allowing these thoughts, and we just let them go. Let them go during the time of prayer. So the prayer is very healing. Thomas Keating says that we have to have a friendly attitude towards our thoughts. Well, before you go, anyone that's interested, I'll pass out this little leaflet. And inside of it, it has 4 guidelines, simple guidelines for the practice of centering prayer, which could be helpful. I'm just watching my time. Do I have till 11:45? Oh, good. So let me just read you the 4 guidelines. Guideline 1 says, choose the sacred word as the symbol of your intention to consent to God's presence and action within. And before we do our centering prayer, I'll help you choose the sacred word. Then sitting comfortably and with eyes closed, just settle briefly and then silently introduce the sacred word as a symbol of your consent to God's presence and action within. God's not a statue or static. God's action. And we can think of that as God's healing actions, God's loving action. Because what actually happens in this inner room is that God is affirming our basic goodness and also healing us of any wounds that we might be carrying from, even before we were born in our mother's wombs, but which we aren't even conscious of. So whatever God chooses to do. Then when engaged with our thoughts, like we're getting onto that boat, what do? We return ever so gently to our sacred word. That's guideline 3. Then at the end of the prayer, and we usually recommend a minimum of 20 minutes. You might say, 20 minutes. But actually it takes about 10, 15 minutes sometimes just to kind of settle and quiet. So I think what we'll do is 10 minutes of centering prayer. Why don't we wait until a few more minutes? I just have to get myself. I brought a gong, so we're going to use a gong. So I just suggest that if you can, maybe put the things off your lap. And the first thing that we're going to do is choose a sacred word. Now, once you get your sacred word, you don't want to change it during the centering prayer time. And eventually, you'll find the word that seems best. So I invite you to close your eyes and just kind of relax your body, sitting comfortably. And just be aware for a moment of what you're about. Let's begin by just asking the Holy Spirit to help us choose a sacred word, or if you prefer, your sacred breath, as a sacred symbol during this time of prayer. So some possibilities are God, Jesus, Spirit, Abba, love, trust, mercy, peace, faith, be, and if you're having difficulty choosing one, maybe try the word trust. Say Psalm 46, then I'll ring the gong once and we'll begin our 10 minutes. At the end, I'll ring the gong 3 times. and lead us in a silent prayer. Be still and know that I am God. invite you to pray silently with me. May I love the Lord my God with my whole heart, my whole mind, my whole soul. And may I love my neighbor as myself. Back. We have about 5 minutes left to kind of talk about the healing effects of centering prayer. And this will need to be brief and hope to leave a minute or two for questions. And maybe we'll pass around that little brochure. If anyone wants one, you can take it. Then also I have a flyer from Holy Spirit Retreat Center. We'll be doing a day workshop on centering prayer in September. And if you or anyone would be interested in coming, take as many of the flyers as you'd like. So what are some of the fruits of centering prayer that might come in our daily life? Well, for me, the attraction towards centering prayer was really personal transformation. I just becoming the human being that God intends me to become. And certainly don't have time, but the inner healing of things, however God's going to work that in us. So it's becoming our true self rather than the false self that is our imagined self, or the self that maybe because of circumstances. But becoming our true self. And in centering prayer, like any relationship, you fall in love, but love means something, to someone that's been married 50 or 60 years. Things don't just happen overnight, and the development of the relationship. So in meditation, centering prayer, it's a gradual growth. What St. Paul says, on the mind of Christ, or the Christ consciousness. And practically speaking, this might mean I'm a little more patient, less angry, more present to family, to co-workers, seeing and treating my patients as I would a sister or brother. I heard Thich Nhat Hanh say that on the tape, and I thought, I'm thinking like going into a grocery store. What if, or and you ask for some help or whatever, or a nurse comes in, or a technician, if I'm ill. What if we treated each other as sisters or brothers? That would be transformative. Listening compassionately, forgiving myself, forgiving others. These are fruits. Experiencing more inner peace, love, joy. What we call the fruits of the Spirit, the gifts of the Spirit. Living out of the Beatitudes that Jesus taught us. So these are some of the healing effects. I would suggest, if you feel drawn, that you try this prayer for 30 days. It's like taking your antibiotic for 30 days and see what happens in your life. I can give you many stories, but I don't have time. The second thing, if you feel drawn and there's some people that you know, why don't you consider forming a little centering prayer group at work, or it could be someplace else, but I'm thinking of work, and meeting together once a week for 10, 15, 20 minutes, and just doing centering prayer together. This will bring your department, you, the hospital, the organization, great benefits, because the effects ripple out. There's a collective energy when we can pray together. And the group also helps sustain our personal practice. I belong to 2 centering prayer groups at our retreat center, and it's a wonderful gift in my life. Then the little brochure that we passed out, it has Contemplative Outreach's website on it. There's lots of information. There's a bookstore. If you're interested, I'm sorry, the primary book that's printed now in many languages. There's centering prayer groups now around the world. There's thousands of people now doing centering prayer. The book is called Open Mind, Open Heart, and it's written by Father Thomas Keating. And it's on Amazon, on the Contemplative Outreach bookstore. And then the little brochure I gave you. Oops. Okay, we have 1 minute. Are there any questions? I'm sorry it took so long.
I want to clarify, when you talk about Christian meditation, is it the same as centering prayer or is it a little bit different?
Now, Christian meditation, in the Christian tradition, we call it contemplative prayer. But there is another group that's an organized group called Christian meditation.
Right.
And the difference is, we call our word a sacred word. They use a mantra,
Right.
and they repeat it
So
constantly.
that's the difference.
This is a more receptive type of prayer, and theirs is more concentrated.
Okay.
But they all, like I said, bring us to the same place. Any other questions? That's very good, thank you. Yes.
When you say they all bring us to the same place, are you going beyond Christianity to other religions like Hinduism or
When I say the same place, it brings us into a more consciousness of the presence of God, which is faith. And I think all religions, we're all children of God, and ultimately God is living in us and around us, and we're all one. So I think with a sincere heart, you know, whatever path God has brought us into is a path that can lead us to the ultimate reality, however one may see that. And centering prayer certainly is a very good way, and if we're Christian, the symbols and imagery, the language resonates with us.
Very good. Sister
I
Linda,
need to
thank you so
stop.
much. We're going to pass out the centering prayer introductory workshop coming out too, but just wanted to thank Sister Linda because she really came out of the back end. First, we had an open slot, and she pulled through to team up with Reverend Bhante. Reverend Bhante, we're just going to introduce him. He's going to introduce himself, But we
It's okay, you can
appreciate
just
him
keep-
coming as well because he's jet lagged. He just got off of a plane.
You can just hang on to it. We won't need
Back
it.
from a long trip. We were very concerned actually that he wasn't even gonna be here. We didn't know with the traveling, et cetera, if he was gonna be able to be here. So, Reverend Bhante, we're ready for you whenever you're ready.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Well, you all know who am I, and I'm here to share with you a few things. I think we don't have much time to discuss everything in detail. Our presenter, the sister, did a very good job with explaining many things, and then I'm going to touch some of those, and also I may add more little things here and there, and also we can continue with short meditation in the end or somewhere in between when I get tired, so we can sit down. Sit down, be quiet for a few minutes, and then I can continue again.
You had that, you need to take a nap.
Yeah, I didn't take a nap. So, meditation, in Buddhist meditation, actually, when I come to talk about meditation, meditation has nothing to do with, strictly speaking, any of the religions or something. It is a part of life. It should be part of life. We don't have to put any labels on this idea of meditation. It's like we're thinking, our thoughts, our feelings have no labels. Brands are for our convenience and then become attached to that, also become hindrances in the end because we are doing so and so. I am so attached to this and this. So in Buddhist talking about this meditation, we talk about, actually, I don't like to use the word even meditation, the word itself, because that gives some kind of misunderstanding. So I will clarify a little bit all this, and when the time to stop, tell me to stop, so I will do it. See, original term in Sanskrit or in India, they use the word we call bhavana, B-H-A-V-A-N-A. Bhavana means to develop, to cultivate. Develop, to cultivate. It's like a land, need to be developed, to cultivate it. So what we do, we need to clean. They go and then think about this land, is the particular place for this kind of seeds or not, and then have to take the root and prepare the ground for that. And then we can grow the things that we want to grow. And our mind is also like that. Our mind also get all kind of thoughts and here and there, so we need to clean it, to put something that when we feel that we are not feeling well, we all know that, how we feel. Of course, in the morning or somewhere, hallway, if you say, how are you? I would say, fine, but I'm not really fine. I had to sit with a cup of coffee to understand how fine I am. Yeah, we all like that. You can call 100 people, oh, how are you? Fine. That's nothing. Nothing. just say hello or something like that. So what I'm saying is, our mind, by nature, I don't say it's contaminated, but because of all those feelings and the thoughts that come into our mind always gets, let us use the word like polluted, contaminated. A lot of things come to mind, as you are here right now even. So, I'm not saying it is right or wrong, or we are not going to judge that. But the things come to our mind, and then how we handle that, that's where we are training our mind. In Buddhist meditation, we talk about 2 steps. One we call the one-pointedness of mind, like what she's talking about, like the prayer. We use prayer. We use symbols. We use sounds. We use beads. We use mantras. or any word. You can use any term, any word that you like. It doesn't have to be Buddhist or whatever the things you like, a symbol. Like I come to this church right here many times a year. So we sit right there, we can see an altar and then we can focus on that. So we don't have any particular thing. It all depends on you, that what you like. When you see a symbol, I don't feel like hate or I don't like it, and you don't make any judgment with that symbol. You can use any symbol. Yeah, and it's anything that you can draw yourself even. And then the sounds. The sounds also, simple sounds you can use. And the beats, as I said, so all the prayers also like that. Prayers, sometimes you can create your own prayer and then read it for your convenience. And also sitting also, as she was talking about, you have to find a place to sit quietly. This quietness is very important. Environment is very important. But sometimes it's not easy to find a quiet environment. Even she was trying to do here, see what common things happen. But it's not difficult if we know how to get used to that. It's not difficult. We have to train ourselves. That's the mental training. Again, it comes with the physical training and mental training. We have to train our mind how we react to things. Let us say while you are waiting at the post office or waiting in line or in a bank or something, you don't have to get agitated by the people doing what things around you. If you know that you have a few minutes to get to the counter, you just can relax. Rather than getting upset on this, getting upset on that, and by doing judgment on what they wear and what they talk, I mean, who cares? But we trained to be that way actually. It's like the computers, all programmed to be like that way. It seems like we have no choice in life. Actually we have choices. I have a choice. When I'm waiting there, I can just relax. You can look at your watch and time, but don't have to get upset on it. And there are people in front of me, so let them take care of the situation, and then my turn comes, I'll handle it the way that I want to do. So it's very easy. Life becomes very easy if you know how to do that. That's what mental training come into this. One point of mind. And then it comes to insight meditation. Insight we call this vipassana, to see things as they are. To see things as they are, not as they appear to be. Anybody can remember the button that you have on your right mirror of your car?
Objects seem larger than they are.
Oh, you see? Objects are much closer than they are. See? Yeah, because we don't see a clear picture. That's a kind of a warning. You think they are far away, but they are right next to your bumper. So inside meditation, what we are trying to do is to understand, develop our mind, as I say, cultivate our mind to see things. How we see things? By analyzing. By analyzing with the experience that we have in the past, or somebody has told you, or by doing it, experiencing. So that's where we come to meditation in different ways of doing. For example, let us say by listening. You see, we have to learn to listen to ourselves. We have to train our mind to think. Most of the time we are not thinking. That's where the problem. So let us say the traffic. Get there, and then if you can see signs, if you see sirens, if you see something there, or it's a construction signs or whatever, we know that something is going on. By getting angry, it's not going to help. Yeah. So I'm giving you a simple, life experience and this. So if you get stuck in traffic, you don't have to, you have to look around and think what's going on, but don't have to get upset on that situation. Usually, generally we do it because I want. Because I want to go there in 10 minutes, today I can't make it, yesterday I did it. But yesterday is different from today. So every moment is different. By understanding each moment and how to handle it, make a big difference in life. That's why I didn't like it's like your clients. For example, you are dealing with different people. I don't know. I just came here this morning actually. I have no idea what I'm going to do. Last night I was in the flight. I came from Bangkok, Thailand last night. Arrived at midnight here. 2 days I'm heading back to Korea. So just for this event. So I'm glad that to see you here and also to share with you. So in inside meditation, and you can do it. And practicing meditation, as she explained to you, you can find a quiet, comfortable chair, backyard, hallway, any way you can do it. And also it doesn't have to be a 30 minutes, 50 minutes, oh I don't have 30 minutes, you don't have to stop. No, 3 minutes, okay. 5 minutes, okay. All those things adds up. If you take 5 minutes break, 3 minutes break, let us say you're dealing with a client. After that, take a short break. And then in that moment, you can have a short prayer, relaxed moment, breathing in, out, right, relaxing. Not to go out and have some kind of... You know what you are doing? No, sit there, be relaxed, walk around. You can have a few steps, walk back and forth. We talk about walking meditation. You can walk a few minutes around. And then you can deal with the next person, or you can have a good lunch, you know. Whatever you want to do into the next moment is going to be much easier to handle. Otherwise you are going to carry on the same impulses, emotions to the next person, or the next moment, next actions. That's why in our meditation training and classes, and we always tell people, sometimes before going home, after work, relax somewhere a few minutes. Relax. Just be there somewhere and then just stop there for a few minutes. And then go home. And then with the children, with others and the family, you know, we can deal with things much easier, much better. And then coming to the office, same thing. Going to visit patients, the same thing. I don't know what kind of work you are doing, but I'm dealing with all kinds of people, so I mean, I'm doing the same way. So much easier to handle. So meditation techniques can help in many ways to deal with those life situations. I have 2 more minutes, I believe. Yeah. Any questions on the Buddhist training or meditation or any? I'd like to take a few questions if you have any. But she covered a lot of things that, you know, the stillness, quietness is very important. And then we are trying to do inward journey. Meditation is an inward journey, not to go outside. Because we always go out, always outside. People that way that I want to be that way. No, I want to be my way, not there. Yes.
Talk a little about healing and consent to healing in Buddhist meditation.
Yeah, when you say
Heart healing, maybe?
Yeah.
Heart, spirit, soul.
yes, talking about the healing, it's actually physical and mental healing. We all talk about it, and then you see that like in meditation, doesn't matter what type of meditation you practice, it can reduce the amount of the pressure, and it can clean our blood cells. And then when we get angry, we know how our blood cells works. And then when we can calm down and relax situation, and then it is how you feel. So we need to train ourselves to relax, that relaxing moment. And also, as we just talked about before, like a prayers or chanting or sounds of the bell, anything like that can help us to relax. That relaxing makes us to, our body, it helps going to calm down and relax. And our mind is also like that. Our mental thoughts also need to be relaxed. At the same time, those thoughts can be analyzed in a different way or different angle. We can see things. If we react immediately to our actions or the thoughts, sometimes we may not react in a proper way. Most of the time that we realize that I should not have said that, I should not have done that. That is too late. But if we can pause for a moment, relax with few seconds, and then react and answer the question. That make much easier, much relaxing. And that we did some experiments actually UCLA a couple of years ago when we did about the patients, when some people with meditation, we talk about how relaxed they are. Blood pressure can go down, means when they have high blood pressure, sugar level. A lot of things can help, a lot of ways physically and mentally. There are a lot of benefits of all this practicing meditation. As I said, our thoughts we are with our thoughts all the time, and our thoughts create us to, most of the time bring us negative actually. We don't think the negative way, but we feel all negative. Most of the time negative things coming out from society. That's why we see a lot of violence and negative impact of many things in the society. So because we don't think, we think that is positive, but it is not. So we are trained to be that way, or we are programmed to be that way, and then what we need to do is to learn how to relax, have to have patience, have to have courage to change ourselves, and then see things differently. That's the most important thing, is to see things from a different angle. Because it's not the way that I think only. I think maybe I'm wrong. Why not you think in another way, in the deeper and then analytical approach to see the problem? I'll give an example. If there is water right here on the floor, I don't have to blame somebody and immediately say, this is because of that. It could have many reasons. Could have many. Maybe somebody spilled the water. The accident will happen. Maybe children were playing. Maybe there's a pipe or something broken, some leak there. I mean, maybe it was raining, somebody did not fix the roof. Or you can give a lot of reasons, a lot of ways it could happen. If I just say, walk into the room and say, how come this and that, and then that's your fault, I mean, it can go on. So we should not make decisions immediately like that. There are many ways, because case by case is different. I know you are always working on cases, so every case is different. Every person is different. Every person now and next moment is different too. That's why we need to relax and react and interact differently from every moment to moment, even ourselves. I feel differently when I see something now, but in next moment, if I can see it in a different angle, I'm a totally different person. Totally different person, so we can heal ourselves and the mind, yes.
As I understand meditation, it's a method or technique of dealing with what I'm hearing of coping skills, everyday coping skills.
Yes.
This whole conference deals with mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
How challenging is it for a mentally ill person to grasp the concept of mediation and to be able to carry it on in their recovery process?
It depends on the person. It depends on what grade that, how much can they understand when we communicate with the people. I work with many different people. We do have, I don't say them mentally ill or something, but we all mentally ill in a way. Depends on the degree. Depends on the degree of that illness. And then I worked with children. I worked with high school, university kids, and then all kinds of people. Yes. We have to listen to them, and the listening is, and then we have to learn to communicate. It sometimes takes a long time. Sometimes takes a long time. Sometimes we have to try different techniques. We talk to, our temple has different programs, and some children came, high school kids came. They had certain difficulty with their parents and all, and then they eventually came to us, and then sometimes people are not listening to certain people. Sometimes some people would like to listen to some others. So we have to try different ways of doing it. Sometimes children, or let us say for children or adults, they don't listen to their partners or friends or relatives. Sometimes they really would like to talk to somebody else. So we have to try different techniques for for that. But it's not difficult, it's not that easy either. I don't know, but you have
Well, you mentioned children, iPods and all this, flipping through this thing. Is it difficult for this generation to understand even what you're talking about? This generation
Yeah.
with
of course, and I
fast
technology.
technology.
Yes.
How do you want to talk about it? Don't international so fast on Twitter or Facebook.
Yeah, all these high technologies, it makes it, I think, difficult to understand even the idea to slow down or take a break. There's no break for
You're
iPod,
right, you're
for
exactly right, because
texting or whatever they do.
actually I did a workshop, I think the materialistic world and the spiritual is the mental health and all these things. We had a discussion a couple of years ago, also I think organized by the county somewhere. So, Los Angeles County. So the materialistic world, yes, we live, every day we have, right now we have, in 3 months' time we have another one coming, so people don't know how to deal with that. So yes, but again, it's not that difficult if we know how to train individually to deal with those. The main problem is that society, I mean, as I said, programming like this, and you have to have this, otherwise you can't find happiness. You're an unhappy person. If you don't have it, you lose everything. I mean, that's kind of the message coming out in the market, that's the marketing technique. So what we need to do is to, of course, we can listen to that, but we don't have to buy that. We don't have to buy the ideas, what they're saying exactly sometimes is not going to work. But it depends on the work that you do. Certain work you do, you need those electronic gadgets. Then we don't have to be attached to those things again. And then for children, like I talked to, for example, those children again, some families do have some difficulties in buying those gadgets, when it comes to market. But it is what happens is there's children and parents are not happy each other with the situations, and then we have to explain to the children, to those children how difficult and what is the use of that, and then can they wait until they have finished their education. So we call communication. By communicating with those children and the parents and with understanding of the whole picture of this situation, then much easier to resolve or to calm down their thoughts and all those agitations. I know this is very difficult. I've been traveling, I know that at the airports, people are not talking to each other. I was at the airport just yesterday in Hong Kong, and then 3 people walking, and then 3 of them talking, but they were together. They were looking at each other's face, but they're all hanging their wires and all wired to somewhere else. Yeah, they're in the present moment with somebody else, but it's very unfortunate, but we can see that. I'm not saying the gadgets are bad or wrong or something, they are very useful today, but using or abusing or misusing is the problem. You see, things are there, we don't have to abuse, we don't have to misuse. That's where the thing is. So the electronic gadgets, actually those companies or the people who are marketing, that's their part of the job, but as parents and as teachers or the social leaders or the community leaders, we have to educate the people to use, how to use, what to do, and how to handle these situations and things like that. In India, there was a case like that. Somebody sold the kidney to buy iPad. It's just not one case, there are many cases like that.
I wonder, Reverend, can you comment about moving meditation?
Moving.
Yeah,
Yes.
is that compared to sitting meditation? Because you mentioned the mentally ill. Seems like they like the moving meditation or Tai Chi, Qigong, or walking meditation. Can you comment on that?
Yes. Moving, you see, I recommend to many people, because most of the time, in generally, we are not trained to sit quiet and still. We can't, because it takes a long time to train to sit still. Of course, then thoughts come to mind, as you said, all those thoughts are coming, and the feelings and the pains and all kinds of plans, everything comes to mind. But the walking can make a big difference. walking, when we walk, we can focus on our walk. So the body, speech, and mind can, all these three can work together. And our steps, when we talk, we take the right, we are moving the right leg or left, and then we can focus on those movements. And at the same time, I can say to myself, or then I can listen to that, and also I have the feeling that I'm doing it. So body, speech, and mind all working in the same way. So the walking meditation I recommend to many people who cannot focus their mind in the beginning. And it really works, I can tell you. And even in the office.
The Tai Chi Qigong, would that be the equivalent to the?
Tai Chi also can do,
Qigong,
yes,
is that
Qigong can
equivalent?
do,
Okay.
Tai Chi can do, but it depends on the location and things like that. Sometimes not very easy, but walking is much easier. It's like if you do Tai Chi somewhere in the office, somewhere, it's on the hallway. Yeah, I know how to do it. I know how to do it. I used to learn those things. But in the hallway, you can walk. In your office, you can find 10 feet space. You can walk back and forth and relax. And you can stand up and look at the picture, and then relax on the painting and whatever they have. So it's kind of little things that makes a big difference in life. Just relaxing training, yes.
So I heard that you're working with high school students, and how have you addressed some of their resistance, kind of like what Marina was saying about the idea of slowing down and putting the phones away. I can't even get my kid to put the phone away to eat dinner, let alone to ask him to do it, to consider that. So how would you approach some of that?
Communication, explaining, respecting them first, and then trying to make them to understand, to listen to us first. If we try to tell them, don't do this, don't do that, it doesn't work. Yes, we have to be with them, we have to talk with them. It takes a long time to them to develop that mutual respect and understanding. They don't have fear. We don't have to build their fear in, no, my mom is going to take my things away. No. It's how to feel my mom, she's going to help me. She's trying to help me out. So things like we need to develop a lot of positive energy, positive thinking, and then do it. It's not that easy working with children, especially young kids today. Yes.
I adopted a young boy who had oppositional disorder and ADHD. He was abandoned by his parents, and possibly his parents were drug addicts. Also, there's a terrible history in their family. So, unfortunately, I adopted this person with not knowing how serious it would be. But my basic problem is communication and trust. I've worked for 14 years to try to do that. I made essentially no progress at all. The only time that I had him under control was when he didn't sleep for 6 months. And I was with him, just restraining him for 6 months. He finally surrendered, and then he slept. So I had to go through a tremendous battle for him to surrender, for him to realize that I was present. Secondly, lately he's gone out of control completely and he's attacking me very viciously. He will not listen to me. The only thing that worked is I went face to face and I said, hit me. That's what made the difference.
It's possible, takes time. We help some drug addicts and also some people with gambling and all kinds of different people with all addictions. And we help, but takes a long time. And we have so much patience ourselves too. It's so much time consuming. Most of the time we generally, it takes too much time. We need everything fast. Fast lane, fast cooking, and fast food, instant noodles.
I've had a lot of life experiences investigating internal armed conflict in the world. But I am a Catholic nun and a spiritual director. And I counsel boys at juvenile hall one night a week. And I have found that, well, first of all, poverty depersonalizes. it makes them find solutions in all the wrong places. Because oftentimes I've discovered that there's not enough unconditional love in these kids' experience. And if you talk to them long enough and listen to them, the more you listen, you discover the real person, the little kid, the scared person inside. And there's beauty there. And when you affirm it, they just love you. I mean, it's like somebody different, somebody listened. And that's why I admire so much people in not only your life, your career, but in the careers of these people who heal people. That if they are humble enough to listen and discover the real person. I think that's something that Greg Boyle does with homeboys. He listens. Nobody's ever listened.
Now, how much time do we have
We
total?
have about 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes.
12.
Let us do a simple, as we do a quiet meditation. See if we can be quiet for a few minutes. Actually, quietness is what we call a stillness. Stillness, of course, thoughts come to your mind, and then you can't stop. You can't stop. And also in our Buddhist training or anything, as you were saying this, we are not trying to stop. We can something that we are not trying to do something we cannot. We can't stop. Feelings come, the pain, the bodily, the feelings, the thoughts come to mind, come to our body. So we need to relax. And then we are not going to pay attention to those the feelings a lot. It's like in Buddhist meditation, sometimes we use examples like watching the clouds like that. These are different clouds forming and then they're passing through. The thoughts can come and go through, don't have to attach and then run with that cloud to chase it, to find it. So, which we cannot get it. That's what we are doing in our daily life, just chasing for something that we can't get. So we're just trying to relax and then relax meditation. I'm not going to do different counting or anything. I'm going to use this gong also. Thank you very much for bringing this. I didn't think about all that stuff. And then breathing in, breathing out, and try to make it normal. Sit comfortably. Actually we did very good sitting for 10 minutes in with our last session. So they're going to read, and later I'm going to read short reading, and we can work together on that. well. May no harm come to me. May no difficulties come to me. May I have courage. Understanding and determination. To overcome difficulties. And failures in life. May all beings be well. May no harm come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May they have courage. Understanding and determination. To overcome difficulties. And failures in life. May all beings be well. So this is something that we use in our day-to-day practices and things. You can use these prayers that our sister used, all kind of prayers, whatever. You can write something like this thing this morning when I came here, when I was having that cup of coffee, I was thinking what to do, and then I just made some notes. So you can make it. You can make it. We all need the peaceful life. We need, spend the day peacefully. We all need secure, relaxed life. That's the expectation. It doesn't matter how much we have, how much we got. It's not important. The important thing is to live the present moment, to relax. We can't buy happiness. We can't buy. I know they shop around. We can't buy happiness. So happiness is within you. You can find it. You can find happiness. If you're happy, if you get a piece of bread, if you're happy with that, you're happy. But you can't be unhappy if you walk into a expensive restaurant. Even if you get food, you're not happy, and that's not going to help you. So simple thing. Life needs to be made simple, and the way of thinking is simple, and we need to compare with others. That's another big mistake that we do. We are comparing with others, compare with case by case, or come to work day by day. This comparison becomes competition. But we need cooperation, not competition. But we need to learn to cooperate. Comparing with others, I just want to be that person, but that person is different from me. How can it happen? It's not going to work. Not going to work. That's where a lot of miseries and calamities and problems and all kinds of lot of things. If we sit back and relax ourselves, we know what we have, what are the problems we have. We can take care of the situation. How many minutes do we have? Time's up.
Let's give Reverend Bhante.